Have you ever found yourself post-nut, you just blew your load, maybe you were on the hub, you were doing something, whatever, and then there's a deep feeling of regret. There's a deep feeling of, why did I do this? There's that low hormonal hangover, and then the rest of your day's kind of fucked because we know the post-nut syndrome, right? So I want to help you understand a little bit more about why this is such an ingrained pattern and what you can do to help start shifting this pattern. Guys, I wanted to try a little bit of a different video today. I'm in Las Vegas for Funnel Hacking Live. My boy, Russell Brunson, who's been one of my greatest teachers of business, of marketing, but basically this man helped me literally create an online business for myself. I literally went from being super broke. I was like working minimum wage jobs. One of the last things I was doing was teaching guitar lessons to kids at this music academy, just barely making enough to make rent. And because of retaining my semen, transmuting my sexual energy, I found the drive to not live an average slave type of lifestyle, the old 9 to 5. And I had the boldness to go for my dreams, and I made it happen. It wasn't easy. It was an upstream battle, so to speak, but I did it, and anyone can do it. And I'm curious, like, do you have these dreams yourself? Like, do you have a vision for yourself of like, this is what I wish my life looked like, but you still find yourself doing the same things over and over again? Because this is the typical pattern for a lot of people, a lot of people in the modern world. Welcome, my friend. Jonathan White here. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can create your ideal life. Hit subscribe to keep my epic videos in your feed and get my free ejaculation control course through the link in the video description. Here we go. So if you have like these ambitions and these desires, these things you want to do, these dreams, but you still find yourself not really taking action on them, still doing the same old things over and over again, you're telling the universe, you're telling yourself and the universe that I don't actually deserve that right now, and I'm more comfortable where I'm at. And a huge part of this is, as well, as a man, when you are constantly, recklessly, impulsively ejaculating out your life force, you lack the extra creative drive you need. Because if you look at the mass of humans, the influence of those around us, we're all swimming in this pool of consciousness, and everyone's thought, everyone's emotions, everyone's beliefs affect you, or they can affect you. They can potentially affect you. Like, have you ever had a moment of clarity, an inspiration, like an aha moment, like, yes, I'm gonna do this thing. And then after a little bit, other people's beliefs, the things that the people tell you, maybe it was your mom saying, no, you'll never do that, little Jimmy. Maybe it was your high school counselor or your friends group. We're like, oh yeah, that'll never happen. So this is what happens. This is what happens for us in the modern world, is that we have dreams, we have visions, but the people around us they're not comfortable with us growing more than they are. And so they're trying to pull you back down, right? So where I'm going with this is that, so here's the thing. If you want to have the strength to hold your own vision, your own idea of really your destination, where are you going in your life? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to accomplish? You have to go against the grain. You have to go against this mass mentality consciousness that's always trying to pull you back down. So you have to, like the cliche is, you have to raise your vibration above everyone else, man. But it's true. It's true. You have to have so much, what's the word here? You have to have so much conviction, so much clarity, so much certainty that you have a mission that is important. You may have experienced this at some point. You may have experienced you may have experienced this period where you had this elevated drive, you had this elevated inspiration. Maybe you were getting healthy, you're changing your diet, or you started working out, going to the gym, you started your meditation practice, your yoga practice, your sexual kung fu practice, whatever it is. And maybe there was a time where there was a lot of momentum. You had a lot of motivation, you were inspired. And if you reflect on that, you probably see like, wow, that was a really like cool, exciting time. Maybe it only lasted one day. Maybe it was 1 year. We all go through cycles with these things. But what you can learn from this is that living in this state of drive and inspiration and we could say productivity and accomplishment, it really is like, it's like building a muscle. You get stronger at it and then it kind of fatigues. You have to have a recovery period. It's like you're up and you're down. But the more that you work at it, the more you keep at it, the stronger. It's like you break down the old resistance, the old, the little inner bitch, you could say, the little bitch inside you that says, no, I don't want to do that today. No, I'd rather play video games. No, it's easier to just get on Pornhub and jerk off. Like, it may sound harsh, but it true, like, again, when I grew up, this is how guys talk to each other. We call each other little bitches, and it wasn't a hateful thing. It wasn't an attempt to shame. It was a calling out, like, bro, like, you're being weak. You're being a victim. You're accepting failure. Like, you don't need to do that. Sexual kung fu is the perfect practice for developing your ability to manifest your ideal life, to manifest, to create whatever you want. Because your sexual energy is your creative power. I say this all the time. But if you reflect on what is your relationship to your sexuality like? What is your sexual experience like? Where does arousal drive you? Where does your sexual desire drive you? What direction does it put you in? Does it put you towards excitement and inspiration and like doing cool things in your life? When you feel it, do you want to hold it in your body? Do you want to move it around? Do you want to say, okay, I'm really turned on down here, but can I get my brain turned on? Can I get my heart turned on? And can I put this into a song, a course? Can I put it into a conversation with someone? That's the other end of the spectrum. Is you get turned on, you feel the arousal. I'm sure you felt this to where maybe you see a sexy image, or you wake up with a nice solid morning salute, morning wood, and there's actually a bit of discomfort in that. It's like, I need to get this out of me. I need to jerk off. I need to ejaculate it out. I need to send it outside of myself. So this tells you a lot about where your energy is leaking. You're sending it outside of yourself. You're discarding it. You don't feel worthy of the vast implications that having a high charge of sexual energy has for you. You know what that feels like. If you practice semen retention, you know what it feels like, where even, sometimes it's 4 days in, sometimes it's 2 weeks in, whatever. And with semen retention, the case isn't like the longer the better all the time, right? But just in general, if you're not, again, we know that ejaculating every day is no good. There's that heightened pressure. It is a pressure. And this is why it becomes uncomfortable for a lot of men. Like, you've probably felt periods where it felt extremely uncomfortable. It's like, all you can think about is just like releasing this. But maybe you've had the experience where you're doing some of the sexual kung fu practices. If you've been doing this for a little while, you've been doing some qigong, some microcosmic orbit, breathing the energy through your body, and you feel what it feels like to have that extra charge of sexual energy. And now it's moving through your body. And what it feels like to interact with people in that state, what it feels like to create something in that state, what it feels like to go to the gym and work out in that state. It's different because you're in a space of overflow instead of a space of depletion. What I encourage you to do today is, first of all, just reflect. I want you to reflect on, what are you avoiding? Like, if you're still finding yourself going back to impulsive sexual outlets, ask yourself, am I on my mission? Do I know what my mission is? Do I have a dream? Do I have a vision? Do I have things that excite me and inspire me? And if you don't, well, first of all, we can see why I would say the majority of the world is living in depression, anxiety, and like just clinging to these and getting to this weird herd mentality of victimhood and like finding things to like blame other people about, and just these weird stuff that's arising in the modern world. We can see why a lot of people are functioning in the state. It's because they're disconnected from their purpose. They're depleted of their energy, often through very impulsive sexual habits, and it's literally tearing their soul out. It's emptying themselves. They feel empty from within, living like this. So reflecting on, do you have a purpose? Do you have a mission? Because without that, you can't sustain your practice. Because again, coming to sexual kung fu being cultivation, like have you ever consistently trained in the sexual kung fu exercises? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. And if you have, that's fantastic. And if you haven't, I encourage you to, because it's what I would say it's required from my perspective of having the mission, having the purpose, having, okay, this is what I'm here to do. This is how I can help people. This is how I can make myself better so that I can help people, not just being empty all the time. That is your motivator, because things aren't always easy. You think I got to practicing by 4 hours a day because it was always just easy and playful and like sunshines and rainbows? No. There was a lot of days where I wanted to quit. There was a lot of days where I wanted to, early on, just go back to jerking off on Pornhub. But I knew where that path led, and I knew it wasn't going to get me where I wanted to go, which was to live in my vision was always to live an incredible life, to do incredible things, to have adventures, to explore the world, and also to help the men around me, because they're suffering. They're stuck. We've been conditioned to accept weakness, to accept mediocrity, to accept being broke and having terrible sex lives, or a lack of sex in our lives, a lack of pleasure, a lack of fulfillment. It's been replaced by video games, weed, alcohol, partying, etc., right? Have you ever tried replacing weed with breathwork and meditation? Have you tried replacing alcohol with a deep, vulnerable conversation with someone you're close to? Have you tried replacing porn with a self-pleasure session where you love yourself? You're not trying to get off, you're not trying to do anything. You are just loving your body, accepting who you are, and exploring what it feels like to not just get off, but to build arousal, to build energy and store it within. So that's your homework, okay? Okay, bro. If you don't have a mission, fucking get one, because you are never going to get anywhere in life. You are not going to be able to do the big things that I know are in your heart. It's in the seed of your soul to do great, great things. And most people let that voice inside themselves die out. And they live miserable lives often because they give up. But I don't want that to be you. So find your mission, find your purpose. And I want you to tell me in the comments of this video, what is your mission? What is your purpose? This is your conviction. This is you telling me and telling everyone in the sexual kung fu community, this is what I'm committed to, and this is what's going to drive me to practice semen retention, to practice sexual kung fu, to live my dreams. Because when things get tough, that is what is going to propel you through. All right? I love you guys. Wishing you the best, and we'll talk soon.